Welcome back to Lucky Penny Finds. Before you spend another penny, stop right there. Today, we're revealing the top 4 most valuable ultra-rare wheat pennies, Buffalo nickels, and Jefferson War Nickels that could be hiding a silent fortune in your pocket right now. Do not spend these coins because every coin gets rarer, more shocking, and worth even more serious money than the last. Stay with me until the end. This hidden treasure could change everything. First coin number 1. If you think every old wheat penny is just another 1-cent coin, this story is about to completely change your mind. This is not fiction. Somewhere right now, someone is tossing this coin into a cash register, dropping it into a tip jar, or leaving it forgotten inside an old drawer without realizing they're giving away a hidden fortune. That's exactly why you need to stay until the end, because one tiny detail on this 1,956 wheat penny without a mint mark can separate an ordinary coin from something collectors quietly chase with unbelievable determination. The 1,956 wheat penny was born during an exciting time in American history. The United States was growing fast after the post-war boom. Families were buying new homes, businesses were expanding, and millions of pennies were moving through everyday commerce. Nobody imagined that decades later, a simple 1-cent coin from that year would become one of those hidden treasures that serious collectors dream about finding. While most people only saw pocket change, a few carefully preserved examples survived with remarkable originality, and those survivors became the coins everyone wishes they had never spent. Turn the coin over in your hand, and you'll immediately recognize one of the most famous designs in American coin history. On the front stands Abraham Lincoln, calm and proud, with the date 1956 below and no mint mark beneath the year, showing it was struck in Philadelphia. Around him are the familiar words that generations of Americans have carried in their pockets. Flip it over and you'll see the beautiful wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. That classic reverse has become one of the most recognized coin designs ever made, and today it reminds collectors of an era that can never be repeated. Although this coin looks simple, it has a satisfying, solid feel in the hand. It weighs about 3.11 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters across, and has a thickness of around 1.52 millimeters. Its bronze composition, made mostly of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, gives it that warm vintage color collectors love. Over many decades, original surfaces slowly develop rich brown, chocolate, or reddish tones that tell the real story of the coin's journey. Those natural colors are not flaws. They're part of its identity, and experienced collectors know the difference immediately. The year 1956 was a period when enormous numbers of coins were needed for a growing economy. Mint workers operated under constant production demands, and although quality standards remained high, every striking carried tiny differences that today become fascinating clues for specialists. Small variations in strike strength, lettering sharpness, and surface preservation have become the details that experienced collectors study under magnification. This detail changes everything because even tiny differences can attract enormous attention when the right buyer appears. Finding one today in genuine, very fine condition is much harder than most people realize. Nearly every coin from that period spent years passing from hand to hand, buying groceries, paying bus fares, and disappearing into circulation. Heavy wear, scratches, polishing, and environmental damage claimed countless examples. Every original survivor that escaped those problems becomes increasingly important as time passes. That's why collectors become excited whenever an untouched example appears after decades of hiding. One mistake destroys more value than almost anything else, and people still make it every single day. They clean the coin. Never clean this coin. A shiny surface created by polishing may look attractive to an inexperienced owner, but collectors see it as permanent damage. Original toning is one of the biggest signs of authenticity and long-term preservation. Once those natural surfaces disappear, they can never be restored, and much of the collector appeal disappears with them. Professional collectors are incredibly patient, and many quietly wait years for the right coin to appear. When an exceptional 1,956 wheat penny without a mint mark reaches a respected auction, the atmosphere changes. Bidders often stay silent until the final moments before suddenly competing with aggressive offers. They understand that opportunities like this do not appear every week. Many winning buyers aren't interested in flipping the coin for a quick profit. They lock it away because they believe truly original examples will become even harder to replace in the future. That growing demand combined with a shrinking supply is exactly what keeps attention focused on this date. Every year, more damaged coins disappear, while high-quality originals move into long-term collections where they may stay for decades. Serious collectors know patience is golden because waiting for the right coin is often better than buying the wrong one. Before you dismiss any old wheat penny, check the date carefully, confirm there is no mint mark, examine the wheat ears, look for natural original color, avoid touching the surfaces unnecessarily, and remember that professional grading is critical if you believe you found an exceptional example. If you're lucky enough to discover a genuine 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark, in very fine original condition, you could be holding a hidden treasure with a market value of around $250,000. That's not just pocket change. That's silent fortune, serious money, and a life-changing opportunity hiding in plain sight. So here's your warning one more time. Do not spend this coin, never clean it, protect its original surfaces, and let professional grading determine exactly what you found. This is not fiction, and hidden treasures like this still appear in unexpected places. But don't go anywhere, because the next coin on our countdown is even rarer, even more mysterious, and the tiny detail collectors are fighting over could leave this incredible wheat penny in its shadow. Next coin number 2. Have you ever looked at an old Buffalo nickel and thought it was just another worn-out 5-cent coin? That could be the biggest mistake you'll ever make. This is not fiction. Right now, one of these incredible 1,925 Buffalo nickels without a mint mark could be hiding in an old coin jar tucked inside a forgotten collection, or even sitting in someone's pocket, waiting to be spent without a second thought. Do not spend this coin because what looks like an ordinary old nickel could actually be a hidden treasure worth serious money. Stay with me until the end, because one small detail on this coin changes everything, and what comes next in this video is even bigger. The story of the 1925 Buffalo nickel begins during one of the most fascinating periods in American history. The United States was living through the energetic years of the Roaring Twenties. Cities were expanding, automobiles were filling the roads, factories were working at full speed, and millions of Americans were using nickels every single day. Coins were constantly moving through stores, banks, train stations, restaurants, and marketplaces. Nobody imagined that nearly a century later, a small number of these same nickels would survive as hidden fortunes that collectors desperately hoped to discover. Most of them were used until they became nearly smooth, making high-quality survivors incredibly difficult to find today. The Buffalo nickel is considered one of the most beautiful coins ever produced in the United States. On the front, you'll see the powerful portrait of a Native American, created by combining the features of several real Native American leaders. The design represents strength, dignity, and the American frontier. Above the portrait is the word liberty, while the date 1925 appears beside the shoulder. Since this coin has no mint mark, it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, making that missing mint mark an important identifying feature collectors always check first. Turn the coin over and you'll find the famous American buffalo standing proudly on a raised mound. This magnificent animal symbolizes the rugged spirit of the nation and has made this series one of the most recognizable in American coin history. Even after decades of circulation, the buffalo design still captures attention the moment someone sees it. It's a design that never goes out of style, and collectors continue to admire its artistic beauty generation after generation. Holding this coin feels like holding a genuine piece of American history. It weighs approximately 5 grams, measures about 21.2 millimeters across, and has a thickness of roughly 1.95 millimeters. Shaw Arcanes. It was struck from an alloy containing 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a sturdy feel and a distinctive appearance. Over many decades, original surfaces develop beautiful natural gray, golden, or soft earthy tones. Those colors are created by time itself, and experienced collectors love seeing untouched originality because it tells the authentic story of the coin's journey through history. The year 1925 presented unique challenges during production. Millions of coins were needed to support a rapidly growing economy, and dies experienced heavy use under constant demand. Buffalo nickels are especially known for developing weak details in certain areas, making sharply preserved examples much harder to locate today. Collectors pay close attention to the buffalo's horn, the hair details on the Native American portrait, the date, and the overall sharpness of the strike. This detail changes everything, because even small differences in preservation can dramatically increase collector interest. Finding a genuine 1,925 buffalo nickel without a mint mark in very fine condition is becoming increasingly difficult. Most examples spent decades in circulation before anyone considered saving them. Dates often became worn nearly invisible, the buffalo lost much of its detail, and countless coins were damaged by harsh cleaning, scratches, corrosion, or everyday wear. Every original survivor that escaped those problems becomes more desirable with each passing year. That shrinking population is one reason collectors remain so passionate about this remarkable coin. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to improve the coin's appearance by cleaning it. Never clean this coin. Even if the coin appears darker than expected, that natural surface is often exactly what experienced collectors want to see. Original toning proves the coin has aged naturally over time. Once polishing or chemical cleaning removes that surface, much of the collectible value disappears forever. A cleaned coin may look brighter, but to serious buyers it loses much of the character that makes it truly special. Professional grading is another critical step that should never be overlooked. Two coins may appear similar at first glance, but professional graders carefully examine every tiny detail, including wear, strike quality, surface preservation, and originality. That expert evaluation provides confidence to buyers and often becomes one of the most important factors during major auctions. Auction rooms become incredibly exciting whenever an outstanding buffalo nickel appears. Experienced collectors often remain completely silent while carefully watching every bid. Then, within moments, aggressive bidding begins as determined buyers compete for ownership. Many collectors are not purchasing these coins to sell quickly. Instead, they quietly place them into long-term collections because they understand that original examples continue becoming harder to replace every single year. Demand keeps rising while available high-quality coins keep disappearing into private collections. If you ever discover a 1,925 buffalo nickel without a mint mark, examine it carefully before doing anything else. Check that the date is clear, confirm there is no mint mark, study the buffalo's horn and the Native American's hair details, and look for natural original surfaces rather than artificial shine. Handle the coin only by its edges whenever possible. Protect it from scratches, never polish it, and have it professionally graded before making any decisions. Patience is often rewarded because rushing can cost far more than waiting for expert advice. Today, a genuine 1,925 buffalo nickel without a mint mark in very fine original condition can reach an incredible market value of around $270,000. That is hidden wealth, a silent fortune, serious money, and the kind of life-changing opportunity that most people never expect to find inside an ordinary old coin collection. So remember this warning every time you come across an old buffalo nickel. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it. Preserve its original toning because authenticity matters. Professional grading is critical if you believe you've found an exceptional example. Stay with us because the next coin is even more shocking, even harder to find, and the unbelievable secret behind it has collectors fighting harder than ever before. Next coin number 3. Before you ignore another old penny, take a closer look because this next coin has shocked collectors for years. This is not fiction. An ordinary-looking 1,936 wheat penny without a mint mark could be hiding in an old coin jar, inside your family collection, or even mixed in with loose change right now. Thousands of people have accidentally spent coins just like this without realizing they were letting a hidden treasure slip through their fingers. Do not spend this coin because one tiny detail could turn an ordinary cent into serious money. Stay until the end because this detail changes everything, and the final coin in today's countdown is even rarer and more unbelievable. The story of the 1,936 wheat penny begins during one of America's most important historical periods. The country was slowly recovering from the hardships of the Great Depression. Families valued every single penny. Businesses were rebuilding, and coins were circulating constantly as people worked hard to move forward. Every cent mattered during those challenging years, so these pennies passed through countless hands every day. Very few people thought about saving them. They were spent, worn down, forgotten, and eventually disappeared from circulation. That's exactly why finding a beautifully preserved survivor today feels like discovering a silent fortune hiding in plain sight. At first glance, the design looks familiar, but that's part of its magic. On the front, Abraham Lincoln faces proudly to the right, representing strength, leadership, and hope during difficult times in American history. Above him appears the famous motto, "In God We Trust," while liberty stands beside the portrait. The date 1936 sits below, and because this coin has no mint mark, it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. That missing mint mark is one of the very first details experienced collectors check because it immediately identifies where the coin was struck. Turn the coin over and you'll see the classic wheat ears framing the bold words 1 cent and United States of America. Between the wheat stalks sits the inspiring motto, E pluribus unum. This iconic reverse design has become one of the most loved images in American coin collecting. Even after nearly 90 years, it still carries a timeless appearance that reminds collectors of a completely different era. Every line, every letter, and every original surface tells part of the coin's remarkable journey through history. Although it is only a 1-cent coin, it has a satisfying, solid feel in your hand. The 1936 wheat penny weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. It was struck using a bronze alloy made primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it the warm color collectors immediately recognize. As decades pass, untouched examples naturally develop beautiful shades of rich brown, chocolate, deep red-brown, or even hints of original red. Those natural colors are not damage. They are part of the coin's personality, and experienced collectors place enormous importance on preserving them. During 1936, the Philadelphia Mint was producing millions of coins to meet the demands of a recovering economy. Mint workers operated under heavy production schedules, and dies gradually wore with repeated use. Small differences in strike quality, lettering sharpness, and surface preservation became characteristics that specialists carefully examine today. Some coins display stronger details than others, while tiny variations can make one example far more desirable than another. This detail changes everything because collectors notice features that most people never even think to examine. Finding a genuine 1936 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine original condition has become increasingly difficult. Most examples spent decades purchasing groceries, paying bills, riding through cash registers, and filling pocket change until the fine details slowly disappeared. Others suffered scratches, corrosion, environmental damage, or harsh cleaning. Every coin that escaped those problems becomes another precious survivor. As time continues passing, the number of attractive original examples grows smaller, making collector competition even stronger. One of the fastest ways to destroy this hidden treasure is by trying to make it shine. Never clean this coin. Many people believe polishing an old coin increases its value, but the opposite is true. Professional collectors immediately recognize cleaned surfaces, unnatural brightness, and damaged toning. Once that original surface has been removed, it can never be restored. The authentic aging that took nearly 90 years to develop disappears forever, along with much of the collector appeal. Original toning matters because it proves the coin has survived naturally through history. Professional grading is equally important. Even two coins with the same date can receive very different evaluations depending on wear, originality, strike quality, and surface preservation. Expert grading gives buyers confidence and helps determine exactly where a coin stands among surviving examples. For valuable wheat pennies, that professional opinion can make an enormous difference. Whenever an exceptional 1936 wheat penny appears at a respected auction, experienced collectors become intensely focused. Many remain quiet while studying every photograph and every grading detail before bidding begins. Then, almost without warning, determined bidders compete aggressively because they know another opportunity may not appear for years. Many winning collectors have no intention of selling. Instead, they lock these remarkable coins safely away, believing demand will continue rising while the supply of untouched originals keeps shrinking. If you discover a 1936 wheat penny without a mint mark, slow down and inspect it carefully. Check the date, confirm there is no mint mark beneath it, examine the wheat ears, study Lincoln's portrait, and look closely at the natural color and surfaces. Handle the coin only by its edges whenever possible. Never attempt to clean it, polish it, or remove its original toning. Protect it carefully and have it professionally graded before making any decisions. Patience often rewards collectors who resist making costly mistakes. Today, a genuine 1936 wheat penny, without a mint mark in very fine original condition, can reach an astonishing market value of around $194,000. That's hidden wealth, a silent fortune, serious money, and the kind of life-changing opportunity most people never expect to discover inside a simple old penny. So remember this every time you receive change or sort through an old collection. Do not spend this coin, never clean it, preserve its original surfaces, and always rely on professional grading if you believe you found one. But don't celebrate just yet, because the final coin in today's countdown is the rarest surprise of them all, and the unbelievable secret behind it has left even experienced collectors stunned. Next, coin number 4. You've made it to the final coin, and this one is the biggest surprise of them all. If you've stayed with me this far, you're about to discover why collectors become instantly excited whenever they spot this remarkable 1944 Jefferson War Nickel with the large D mint mark. This is not fiction. Every year, people unknowingly spend these old nickels without realizing they're giving away a hidden treasure. Do not spend this coin, because what looks like an ordinary 5-cent piece could actually be a silent fortune hiding in plain sight. Stay with me, because one tiny feature on this coin changes everything, and by the end, you'll understand why serious collectors never stop searching for it. The story of this extraordinary coin begins in 1944 during one of the most important years in American history. World War II was still shaping everyday life across the United States. The nation needed enormous amounts of nickel metal for military equipment, armor, and wartime production. To help support the war effort, the United States Mint temporarily changed the composition of the 5-cent coin, creating what collectors now proudly call the Jefferson War Nickel. At the time, these coins simply helped Americans buy everyday necessities. Nobody imagined they would eventually become some of the most fascinating hidden treasures in U.S. coin collecting. Take a close look at the front of the coin, and you'll immediately recognize Thomas Jefferson facing left with the familiar inscriptions surrounding the portrait. But the real excitement begins when you turn the coin over. There stands Jefferson's beautiful home, Monticello, centered proudly on the reverse. Above the building is one feature that instantly separates this wartime issue from ordinary nickels: a large D mint mark positioned above Monticello. That oversized mint mark identifies the coin as having been struck at the Denver Mint during the special wartime production years. It was intentionally made much larger than normal, so these silver alloy nickels could easily be identified after the war. That single detail has become one of the first things experienced collectors search for. Holding this coin feels completely different from handling a regular modern nickel. It weighs approximately 5 grams, measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of about 1.95 millimeters. Unlike ordinary Jefferson nickels, the wartime version was produced from a unique alloy containing 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese, because nickel metal was urgently needed elsewhere during the war. That silver content gives these coins a distinctive personality that collectors immediately appreciate. Over decades, many examples develop attractive brown, gray, golden, or smoky toning. That natural brown shade often becomes one of the most beautiful characteristics of an untouched coin, telling the authentic story of its long journey through history. The wartime years placed extraordinary pressure on the mint. Millions of coins had to be produced quickly while adapting to a completely different metal mixture. New production methods, changing materials, and heavy demand created fascinating variations that specialists still study today. Tiny differences in strike quality, surface preservation, lettering sharpness, and the appearance of the large mint mark continue attracting tremendous attention from advanced collectors. This detail changes everything, because even subtle characteristics can dramatically increase collector interest. Finding a genuine 1944 Jefferson War Nickel with a large D mint mark in very fine original condition is becoming increasingly difficult. Most of these coins entered heavy circulation immediately after leaving the mint. They bought food, fuel, clothing, and countless everyday necessities during a historic period when every coin worked hard. Decades of handling left many examples worn, scratched, damaged, or cleaned. Every original survivor that escaped those problems becomes another piece of American history that collectors desperately hope to own. One mistake continues destroying valuable coins every single day. People clean them. Never clean this coin. Many believe bright, polished surfaces make an old coin more attractive, but experienced collectors know exactly the opposite is true. Original toning matters because it proves the surfaces have aged naturally over time. Once polishing removes that natural appearance, the damage cannot be reversed. The beautiful brown shade that took decades to develop becomes permanently lost, taking much of the collector appeal with it. Professional grading is absolutely critical for a coin like this. Experts carefully examine the strike, originality, wear, luster, toning, and countless tiny details invisible to the average eye. Two similar-looking coins can receive completely different evaluations based on those subtle differences. That's why serious collectors trust professional grading before making important buying or selling decisions. Whenever an exceptional 1944 Jefferson War Nickel appears at a respected auction, the atmosphere becomes incredibly intense. Experienced collectors often wait patiently while studying every photograph and every grading report before making their move. Then the bidding suddenly becomes aggressive because everyone understands how rarely outstanding original examples become available. Many buyers aren't purchasing these coins simply to resell them. They're building long-term collections, knowing that demand continues increasing while untouched survivors quietly disappear into private collections year after year. If you ever find a 1944 Jefferson War Nickel, examine it carefully before doing anything else. Look above Monticello for the large D mint mark. Check that the date is clear, inspect the natural brown toning, and study the surfaces for originality rather than artificial shine. Handle the coin only by its edges whenever possible, protect it from scratches, never attempt to clean it, and have it professionally graded if you believe you've found an exceptional example. Patience is one of the greatest advantages any collector can have because rushing often leads to costly mistakes. Today, a genuine 1944 Jefferson War Nickel with the large D mint mark in very fine original condition can reach an astonishing market value of around $214,000. That's hidden wealth, a silent fortune, serious money, and a life-changing opportunity hiding inside a coin that many people still mistake for ordinary pocket change. Before you spend another old nickel, remember everything you've learned today. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it because original toning matters. Protect it carefully and always rely on professional grading to understand its true potential. Hidden treasures are still circulating, and the next life-changing discovery could happen when you least expect it. If you enjoyed uncovering these incredible hidden treasures, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Lucky Penny Finds, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another rare U.S. Coins Alert. Every week we reveal more hidden wealth, silent fortunes, and serious money hiding in ordinary-looking coins that people accidentally spend every single day. Which coin surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments, and before you walk away, check your pocket, your wallet, your coin jar, and your old family collections, because your next coin could be the hidden treasure that changes everything.